It's weird. It's like I see these psychedelic mushrooms growing, and there's like kids playing around, and I think I see them eating these mushrooms. Hmm.
Do you feel you are seeing a past life, another life in this scene?
Yeah, just it feels like it's weird. It feels psychedelic. It feels like if it is a past life, it's feels like a moment when I may have taken mushrooms myself. I'm not sure. It's really strange. Just like lots of vivid colors and spiraling patterns in the sky. And yeah, it just feels like a fairyland, like where you would see unicorns and fairies and just hmm,
Let's explore this more. Tune in with all your knowing and look around. Look down at yourself.
I
Tell
am
me
one of the mushrooms.
you're a mushroom.
Yeah, I feel like I'm a psychedelic mushroom.
And as this mushroom, you have a consciousness.
Yeah, it's really interesting. It's like, how do I explain this? It's like the mushroom experiences what we experience when we eat them, but it's kind of like in this state all the time. Like it's constantly, how do I explain it? It's like it's growing there on the ground, and so we would see it if we were to walk past it today, it would look like just any other day, but inside it's the way it sees everything is like what I described, like a fairyland. So it's almost like it's in two dimensions at once. It's like it's physically, it depends on how you're looking at it. Um, that's really weird. It's like it's able to see, like when it opens its eyes, so to speak, it sees the way that we see the forest, for example, but on the inside, it has, I don't know, like all this magic, this magical world inside of it. So that's why when humans consume it, I don't know, it's like it passes that on to them, and it's really fascinating. Hmm.
So, as this mushroom that is experiencing you and you are experiencing it, are there any other beings around that you can connect to and see? Any unicorns or fairies in this garden?
I can feel the trees for sure. Hmm, no, it's not super. I don't know how to explain it. It's not really super clear. It's like it just, for some reason, it wanted to show me what it was like on the inside, so I could kind of get a glimpse of what it's like as the psychedelic mushroom. It's like it's not much different than us in that when it opens its eyes, it sees what we see on the outside world, but it's able to go within itself, kind of like how we can do if we can get into deep meditations or if we do take a hallucinogen of some sort. Yeah,
Tune in deeper into this mushroom that is experiencing you when you are experiencing it. What else can it share with us today?
it's just showing me how it just has the ability to see the world in a just in a different spectrum, um, and just how over time it's like when we come in, we're able to see very clearly, and then over time, it's like these things happen in our lives, and we slowly lose that part of ourselves. And so they're here to help us remember like the magical aspects of life. Um, and I feel like they do a lot of clearing, and I'm kind of being shown like neural pathways in the brain. It feels like there's a lot of there's a lot of okay, so there's a lot of disconnection that happens in this realm. Kind of being shown it's through a lot of it's from being inside, um, and a lot of the frequencies that are in the homes and the way that houses are built, um, and all the things that were shown throughout our lives. They take their toll on the way our brains are wired. Our brains become very fragmented, and so it's kind of showing me it's like it sort of re-pieces everything back together um, when we consume them. That's why people really prefer being outside when they experience it, and being inside is like almost not tolerable. So
Mm.
it's just like a very returning to nature. Um, yeah, it just feels like it helps us remember our true essence. But that some people have bad experiences with them because they have a lot of unresolved trauma, and so some really dark things can come up, but they come up so that they can be healed.
Mm.
So hmm, okay, yeah, I guess it just wanted to show me like the process and um, why they were so important to our ancestors. It feels like like we're experiencing a massive shift in consciousness right now, and that they could be used to um, sort of speed that up for us if people chose to use them. It feels like we're just being out in nature in general is the it's just kind of what they're showing me. It's kind of showing me like how we feel being inside versus how we feel being outside, and how it's extremely important that we talk about being out in nature a lot. It's just saying, yes, this is really, really necessary, and some people would be well advised to take these. It can help bring them back in harmony with nature. So yeah, it's kind of showing me how some people have been so disconnected that they don't find the beauty in the way that other people do. Some of us see nature and we connect with it really easily. Um, but a lot of people have been so accustomed to being inside that even walking outside barefoot, they've been so conditioned to think that it's dirty, and that for people like that specifically, if they were to take like a mushroom, for example, it would help clear a lot of that programming. It's a reconnection to nature tool is what it feels like.
Well,
Yeah.
what else can it tell us about helping assist people besides connecting to nature? What else? Um, how else could it help people?
It's connecting to nature, and it shows a different like patterns in the sky, like geometrical shapes and patterns, and um, it shows you a lot of. It's like it shows life through a completely different lens. It's like it's still what we see, but it just enhances everything, and everything feels more alive. So it's connecting to nature, but so many people see um, they don't see the life in a lot of things,
Mm,
rocks and even like dirt. Um, I don't know. It's like it shows the connectedness to everything and how everything is alive. It makes you feel um, instead of feeling so isolated and separate from everything.
mm,
It it reminds you that we're all connected. So
yes.
it could be a really helpful tool for a lot of
Mm-hmm.
people right now.
I see. Yes. So it helps people wake up to just seeing that there's energy in everything, and the consciousness, and not just seeing a tree for a tree, but seeing it in a much more energetic way.
Yeah. Mhm.
Beautiful. So, was this recommended for a lot of people to do, or just someone who's drawn to it? What would be the guidance if someone had an interest in this, using these?
Yeah, I get the sense that you have to be guided towards it if you were to take it. Um, and you weren't ready, it could be, I don't know, I get the sense that it could be very healing for somebody that's very disconnected, but um, you'd have to be careful with like with the dose, because it could be such an eye-opening experience. It might not be very pleasant for them, is kind of how it feels.
Mm-hmm.
Like afterwards, they would probably feel very different, but the
Yes.
actual as it's kicking in and as you're seeing how alive everything is, it's just like it's such a massive shift
Mm-hmm.
from where they were that it would probably feel really uncomfortable
Yes.
um, at first. So I don't know. I was kind of wondering, like, not sure how to explain it, but if you were to just give it to somebody that you felt like you needed it, definitely not be a good idea. They have to be ready for it and they have to be called to it. So I also feel like I was just getting the sense that this is going to be something that's going to start um, really taking off soon. It feels like the consciousness is expanding, so people are just going to, it's weird. It's like people are just going to start understanding things because the people that are doing this kind of work, um, we're helping expand the consciousness by all this discovery that we're doing. And so it's showing me how it'll just start affecting people. Like people won't understand why, but they'll suddenly just start seeing things differently. So it's going to happen anyway. Um, and so I think people, I don't know, it's hard to explain. It's like I just see this evolution of consciousness, and then the people that would probably not be up for taking it right now at this moment with everything shifting the way that it is. I feel like it's going to start getting more positive press, and it'll be a tool available for anybody that wants to sort of speed up their process. It just feels like it's starting to become a lot more mainstream, or it's going to start becoming a lot more mainstream, kind of like how marijuana was legalized in a lot of places. It kind of feels like that's coming next, and that's going to be
Hmm.
like a really massive jump. So
So
I guess
that
a
will,
lot.
yes, that will be made more available to people and more known to people
Yeah,
coming
yeah,
up.
because people feel better if it's
They're not having to find alternative sources to get
yeah.
it, but it's more available and more, yes,
Mhm.
well known. So if someone has a lot of things to heal in them, it might be a little jarring. So just let them be guided to maybe how much and if it's right for them at that time.
Yeah, yeah. It feels like as this grows, there will be more people, sort of like how shamans do in the rainforest with like ayahuasca journeys.
Mm-hmm.
There'll be more people that are like sort of qualified to do these. It feels like I just keep seeing like ceremonies is kind of the word that I'm getting
Mm-hmm.
in vision. So I feel um, like these ceremonies will become more popular in the future. So you'll have like a safe space
Mm-hmm.
to go do it with somebody that can help facilitate it. Yeah.
Yes. Is that recommended then if someone's never done it before and they have an interest in it to do it in a group setting versus by themselves?
Yeah, it depends on if you're somebody that's already really connected to nature, and has done a lot of healing for yourself, then somebody like that would have an easier time with it, most likely. There's some ego stuff associated in it, though, too. It sort of kills the ego when you take it because you can't control it, and the ego's sort of wants to control everything, and so it helps um, sort of loosen the ego a little bit. Um,
Mm.
so yeah, it just kind of depends on where you are. Like I kept seeing the picture of my neighbor, the woman across the street. Um, they were kind of showing me her as an example of somebody who is so disconnected, um, and that thinks that the soil of the earth is disgusting, and it's like scared to death of bacteria and germs. And um, so for somebody like that, it would be um, maybe not even applicable, but if she did decide to do it, then definitely
Mm.
with somebody she trusted, I feel like that's a big part of it too. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah,
Is there anyone that should not take it, just as a guideline? Like,
yeah. If you have any serious like liver issues, kidney issues, it could be a problem because it is essentially your body sees it as a toxin, as a poison. So I would just be aware of it like that. Anybody who, I don't know, just get the sense that anybody who's having any sort of, they feel like they're having attacks where they're sort of spiritually open to attacks, to be careful.
mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah, it just feels like that's like our ancestors used that a lot. I mean, I know the Native Americans use those and peyote and other things on their journeys. It's just a good connector back to the earth, back to nature.
Well, and if someone had the desire to use these, what guidance would help them in knowing maybe where to get them, where to source them, so that they're like the best quality?
There's really only a few different types. It's not, they haven't done with mushrooms what they've done with marijuana.
Mm-hmm.
So there's only just so many strains that you can choose from. So I get the sense that they're all pretty even, if that makes sense as far as the quality goes. Feel like they either grow or they don't grow. Um, like you have to have the right environment to grow them in. So I feel like they're all generally safe. Some may be a little bit stronger. Um, I get the sense that they all have different characteristics, so you could probably do some research if somebody wanted to look into it and see what characteristics each one sort of has. I'm sure some are stronger than others, but find I don't know, I just keep getting the sense like find like a local hippie, like somebody sort of in those circles that um, yeah, like here where I live, there's a town that's all hippies, and so that would probably be a good place to go source them. Like if I was to look here, um, so just in some sort of community like that would be really good if you could find one.
So was this one on the bed being guided to do this at this time, or was this more of a message for humanity, or both?
It's yeah, it's both. So
And how would it
it's
assist this one on the bed at this time?
he's been yeah. So he had a really good experience yesterday. He took what he had left, and it was just a really good experience. It's hard to explain. It clears um, I don't know, it clears a lot of things up and it harmonizes, and it also gives you a good indication as to where you are in life. And so um, it can bring up a lot of negative stuff if there's things that you're not aware of about yourself. So we just wanted to show him that it's perfectly fine to take these, and it's also a message for humanity. It's it just feels like that's something that's going to start becoming more and more accepted in society as consciousness begins to expand. Um, can become a really useful tool. So
And how often is there a recommendation how often would be helpful for people to use these?
it feels like just as needed. It's different for everybody. Some people choose to take a tiny amount every day for a couple of weeks. Yeah, it's just however someone is guided
And if
to
one
do it.
took a tiny amount every day for a few weeks, what effect would that have on them? How would that assist them versus taking a larger amount at once?
It's sort of like the slower rewiring of the neural pathways in the brain. So um, it can help with addictive behaviors. So I get the sense that if somebody were a smoker, for example, maybe something like that would be better in like a 2 to 4 week period. Um, whereas somebody maybe with a very hard drug habit, uh, something really strong, could be more benefited by a really big dose. Yeah, it's hard to explain. Yeah, it's like it has the power. It depends on, I don't know. I get the sense that it just depends on the person and and how they whatever it issues they're having. Some people would benefit from a smaller dose over a longer period of time, and some people could have a healing from some disorder or something they've been suffering with for a long time, just with like one big dose, one session. So it really depends.
Yes. Tell me more about that. Tell me how it helps clear up things for this one in the bed. How has it helped him clear up things? What does it do in the body or the mind or the soul? Is it expanding? Is it clearing? What is it
It
doing?
ex- mhm. it it does different things at different times depending on where you are in life at that time. So yesterday's experience, it felt like expanding, clearing, and also calling back certain fragments
Hmm.
that may still be hanging around. It's similar to his hypnosis because you're in a different state
Hmm.
of consciousness, so you can have a more powerful. Your intent can be more powerful in that altered state. than if you were just in your normal state of mind.
So that it helps to connect to those deeper levels of ourselves.
Yeah, yeah, it depends on where you are at that time. So
Mhm.
a few months ago, there was an experience for him that was very dark at some parts. So a lot of shadow aspects can come up, and it's a very difficult thing to explain. It's something that almost has to be experienced because it's so different, and it's very different each time. So
Yes. So it's really being in another realm and dimension. Is that?
it's seeing things for how they truly are,
Oh, I see. Yes. Mhm.
because these programs are constantly running, and some people call it the veil. The veil gets put up, and then we're unable to see and think the way that we should be able to. And so when that veil comes down, everything is more vivid, and you can see the patterns in the sky, and you just it's like you can feel the God particles all around you, and you just feel part of everything.
Beautiful. So what else can you tell this one in the bed about this at this time that will assist him in understanding and guiding him in his journey?
Well, the what he experienced yesterday was sort of a closing of things of sorts. Like he's felt a lot different since this month began, and yesterday was, we'll just say it like this, yesterday could be the last day that he ever uses those. At least for a while, it sort of cleared up and gave him a very clear state of mind and is able to see the world and feel connected, which is really what he was longing for. Um, Everybody wants to feel connected, but they've just been so disconnected for so long that they forget how amazing that feels. So we would just say that anytime he's feeling disconnected, that he can use that as a tool to reconnect himself to everything.
But once this
And
awareness is, yes, go ahead.
I was just going to say he can now speak more openly about this because he's had sort of a different range of experiences the last few months in using these, and so he can give a full testimony, if you will, about his experience with them, how it may bring, he can describe to somebody how it may bring up some really perceived evil things or lower frequency things, but it can also show you um, the best parts of yourself and how you are connected
Mm.
to everything. So,
Yes. Yes.
yeah.
So what has this one on the bed learned about himself and how connected he is and who he is?
Well, yesterday he really, for once, felt and he saw everybody as a fractal of God. Everybody, a lot of us in this community have heard other people say this, but it's one thing to hear somebody say it, and it's a completely different thing to actually feel it.
Mm.
And that's what these have the ability to do. You can really feel and experience yourself as a part of God, and you see everybody else as the same. It's maybe just a little bit frustrating when you're feeling that because you just wish you could share it with everybody. You wish everybody could like truly experience what that is and what that feels like.
Beautiful. So once someone takes these and has these experiences, that experience really shifts them forever. It lasts unless somehow they shut themselves down, like it truly shifts their whole beingness, would you
Yes,
say?
yes,
Hmm. Would you say that's why our ancestors, the ones that lived on this land so closely to the land um, long ago, is that why they, part of why they were so connected?
yes.
Hmm. What can you tell me more about that and the people that lived on the land and use these and their connection to the land and their purpose on the land, the Native Americans?
Hmm. I get the sense that they use these more often. I don't know, I get the sense that they were a fairly regular part of their lives, maybe depending on the time of year and the parts of of this land where they were. Um, and they had stronger medicines that were probably for more specific times done in ceremonies. But yes, for them, it was, they didn't know anything any different. This was all they knew. And it's hard to explain. It's like where we live now, you can definitely, they show you the massive difference between being outside and coming inside. As soon as you walk inside your house, it feels fake. The lights look the wrong color. Um, you can sense the energies, and as soon as you go back outside, um, it you feel normal. Everything feels right again. So for the ancestors, they lived on this land, and that was all they knew. They were always outside. So it was sort of like maintenance, is the sense that I'm getting. It's just something they did, and it just maintained
Mm-hmm.
their lives. And it is a medicine, but it's not as profound as it would be for us as it was for them. It was just a part of their everyday lives. I feel like um, because there weren't so many, it's sort of like you get in that rhythm. They show you how connected you are. I just don't feel like they ever felt disconnected.
Mm-hmm.
And so there weren't all these things to distract them and pull them away from their true nature. So
Mm, beautiful. Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah. Yes. So this is um, Mother Earth has provided this plant um,
yes,
for us on the earth.
yes.
Yeah. Yeah. What are some other things that would help us connect to the earth and the land as the Native Americans did?
For them, it was just the way of life. They didn't know anything else. It was all they knew.
Yeah.
They lived, on the ground. They were never really separate from Earth, the way that we are here. Um, we have concrete underneath us, and we sleep on a raised bed, and we have all these frequencies happening around us with the Wi-Fi, and they were always in that zone. It was never, yeah, they were never not connected to it. So
Yeah. Can you tell this one on the bed about any other lives he's had living on the land as a Native American? What can you tell us about this?
we've shown him a few lives where he's done this, and
Mhm.
the Native American aspect of himself has been fully reintegrated. So we were showing him visions of a past life to allow him to see those aspects of himself so he could be aware of them and pull them back in and reintegrate them into who he is now. Because a lot of what's happening is you were all starting to pull in all these different fragments, if you will, of yourselves. You call them past lives. But as you mentioned earlier, it's all happening right now. And so when you see past lives, they're just letting you know that you have this aspect of yourself. And when you become aware of that aspect of yourself, it's easier to integrate that aspect of yourself into this now moment, who you are now.
Yes. So that's definitely an important part of these SCHH sessions to help connect people to other aspects of themselves, not just for fun and entertainment, but to truly connect to that essence of who they are and bring that back to themselves.
Yes.
Yes. So, with this one on the bed, knowing these other aspects of himself as a Native American, how will he utilize that in his life here? What can you tell him about this that maybe he doesn't already know?
There will be a lot more, um, and he's already starting to see this. There will be a lot more connection back to the land. That's why he's felt so called to take these mushrooms, because he's been wanting to reconnect, and he can begin to remember what that was like. Because as this movement continues to go forward and consciousness expands, humans will realize that they want to get back to where they were. So it will help in ways that will make him more comfortable and more at ease when and get him ready for these transitions as they happen. Um, and over time, some people get downloads of past lives where it happens all at once, but for him, it's coming in waves. And so he will just start discovering more and more things about himself. And so the tarot cards are sort of an example of this, feeling connected to the cards and through the symbols. And there really is a lot to reintegrate, because the symbols that you see are ancient. The symbols are older than language, and the subconscious mind recognizes these symbols even though the
Hmm.
conscious mind doesn't know. So
Yes.
a lot of you are feeling pulled towards the tarot cards because they do have a lot of colors and geometrical patterns, symbols that are very healing and will help you remember who you are. There's ancient knowledge decoded in the cards, so there will be a lot more focus on symbols in the future. People are already starting to sort of go back into that because symbols are universal. So there's a lot of division because of the language barriers, and so um, through either numbers or through symbols, people may prefer to start communicating in this way again because it's more universal and there's a very old history. There's a lot of information hidden in those symbols. So it's,
Yes. Hmm.
yeah,
Beautiful. Can you tell him about the Thoth tarot cards that he just purchased? Um, his purpose in using them, in addition to what you just told us, like, is there going to be anything specific in that that will really help him?
yeah, there's a lot of information coded in those cards. He hasn't even seen them yet, but he knows that they will be they will be profound, and in a lot of ways he won't even understand what a lot of this means right away on a conscious level, but his
Mm,
subconscious mind, as he flips through them, he will know. And so uh,
yes.
it could help him connect to what you would call an Egyptian aspect of yourself.
Mm,
Um, yeah, just regaining an interest in patterns, hieroglyphics, paying more attention to these things. They're not just coincidence. They're not just random cards and patterns that somebody made up. There's a lot of deep hidden knowledge and wisdom
mm,
in them. So
yes. So if someone looks at these ancient Egyptian symbols and um, doesn't know what it means, they're still receiving information
yes,
and enlightenment and downloads just from the images, which, yes, which I have
yeah,
felt myself. Yes.
mhm, yes,
So it kind of wakens up something deep within. Would you say that also about crop circles as well? Did they activate something within when we see those patterns?
yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Crop circles are connected to the crystals underground as well.
Oh, tell me more about that.
When the crop circles are made, it's actually the crystals in the ground that are making the patterns. It's not some device on the ships that are flying over.
Hmm.
The ships are connecting to the crystals in the ground and they're activating the crystals in a certain pattern. So, in a way, humans have understood it that the ships are making them, but the ships are working with the crystals to make the patterns.
Wow, that's
So yes,
incredible.
it's powerful. Yes, it's connecting you to symbols and to the crystals underground. There's a lot of stored information and knowledge in those crystals, and so just by seeing a symbol, it's like when you see that symbol, the crystals are giving you messages. So it's so much deeper than your minds can even handle right now.
Mm.
It's something that will become as your DNA keeps getting activated and your consciousness is able to expand and you're able to integrate more and more things, it'll all become more apparent. But all of these things are fitting together as part of the puzzle. There's a lot of different things happening right now that have been activating the human race.
Yes. Seems like the planet is truly waking up.
Yes.
The planet within emanating out and awaking, well, from above and below,
Hmm.
helping humanity wake up.
Yes, it is. It's coming from outside and from within the planet. So
Yes.
it is both. Mhm.
Meant to spark that light within us of our true divinity and why we came here.
Yes.
Yeah. So the crop circles, when people look at them, what does that activate within them? Can you tell me more about that?
It could be many things. It depends on what they've experienced in other lives. There could be galactic information in there. There could be the best way to describe it is it's when you see those symbols, it's like information across all dimensions in time and space. Like
Mm.
it's almost kind of like an Akashic record of Earth in a way, in just a
Mm.
symbol. So there really is a lot of information packed in those symbols, and
So was it meant to activate with things within us or knowledge of the earth?
feels like it's more activating things within us,
Mm-hmm.
because Earth is already activated.
Yes.
Um,
So it's like codes that the earth has stored this knowledge, and these codes are activated, and they activate that within us,
yes,
wakes us up
yes.
to our true knowing. Hmm. Yes. And
Yeah,
it
and I was
usually feels
trying.
just like a spark that just kind of activates
Mm,
within as you
yes.
look at it. Hmm.
Hmm.
So are they beings from all over the galaxy that are traveling here with their ships that fly over these crystals? Is it intentional that they activate them?
I,
Um,
f- I
yeah.
feel like there's only one or two races that do that. Um, I kind of get a sense that each group kind of has their own specific ways that they're helping. Um, it feels Arcturian and Pleiadian
Hmm?
are the ones doing the crop circles. It might not be just them, but that's when I don't that's just what I saw in my head. It was like Pleiadian and Arcturian.
Hmm? And so do they know where these areas are, or how does that work?
Yeah, I feel like there's certain places on Earth that yeah, it's I don't know. I just saw like Stonehenge in my head, and I don't think they do them at Stonehenge, but it was kind of like it feels like there's a certain power point. So I don't know if there's maybe a larger concentration of crystals in that area, or if Gaia just sort of designed a certain parts with certain patterns of crystals to be able to do this. I'm not sure,
Mm,
because it feels very location um, specific. It doesn't feel like these can happen just anywhere. It feels like there's almost like meridians or like
mm,
certain energetic points or something.
mhm.
Yeah.
Interesting. So, the crop circles only show up on, say, a farmland, right? But
Hmm.
I'm imagining that they can go activate crystals in other areas of the world, say Stonehenge, where you don't see the crop circle formation, but it still activates something. Is that
Yes.
happening as well?
Yes. Well, I don't know that that's happening because when you were saying that, I get the sense that they want us to see the circles,
Mm-hmm.
and that's part of it is just the symbol.
Mm-hmm.
And when we see that symbol at that time or in that time period, yeah, it's important. I just feel like it's important for us to see the symbols.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Beautiful. So if people want help waking up, they can do many things. They can use these mushrooms to help do huge awakenings in baby steps or large steps. They can read symbols on tarot cards. They can even just look at images of crop circles on the planet that activates,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
What other things? Is there anything else you can share with us today, that any other symbols?
Now,
Yeah.
these three feel very, I feel like it was supposed to be three.
Mm.
So,
Nice.
um, yeah.
I love that. Yeah, very, very, very helpful advice. Thank you. And just incredible information and fun information. I've loved hearing about it. So I would like to just thank this higher self, Brad's higher self, coming forth today, showing us this mushroom reality connection and everything with that, and the awareness, everything you've shown us today. It's been incredible.